Well, I want to give you the street savvy's point of view, the gangster point of view, if you will. And I think this actually serves a lot more purpose than putting out information as far as exact predictions and why this is going to go this way and that way. And I'll put you out a common sense story why even the best of the best don't know. Look at John Corazine. Sure, he ripped off, MF Global. He did bad bets. He got away with it, and we all know that. But a lot of people are missing another point. Wasn't this guy the insider of an insider? Wasn't he a trader's trader? Wasn't he somebody that ran that brokerage firm that was always out there on that floor, getting right involved in all the action? Didn't he think he had a sure bet when he bet the company? He thought he was going to make a lot of money? No. Yeah, he did. But did it happen? No. No, it didn't happen, right? And see, this is really what I'm driving at. Nobody on Wall Street trusts each other. You're talking about a tank of sharks, and cash ain't really your safety. It's gonna be silver and gold. Probably, I'm gonna say silver, because there's one thing I never liked about gold is we really don't need this stuff. Yeah, I know gold has been money forever and all this kind of garbage, but we don't need it. Palladium we need, platinum we need, silver we need. That's the way I look at it, plain old common sense, just like old girl's got the Derringer in her hand. It ain't a piece of freaking paper. It's a hunk of metal, ain't it? So, I want to get down to one other thing, too. It's common sense. People are scared of freedom. People are scared of freedom. They are. Oh, they talk it. Oh, they talk about this, they talk about that, and they can quote you 50 million lines out of the Bible and all that, but they are scared of freedom. Talking free and being free are two different things. And that's exactly the way the deal is. People, and once you freaking point out to them they ain't free, they get all kinds of defensive and they're like worried. Oh, no, yeah, we got the best system. Oh, we got this. It don't work that way. People are actually bought and sold every day, man. And this is the part I have a problem with versus with the religious. People talk Jesus all the time, give you 50 million quotes, but they ain't nothing like Jesus. Jesus was a stand-up guy. That's what Jesus was about. But anyway, I want to get on some article. I'm not going to go into it too deep, but it's from Forbes. I'm going to point to the link. You can read the whole article. But I'm going to go over real snippets of it, small snippets of it, because, the gist of it is correct. Big banks and derivatives. Why another financial crisis is inevitable. This is from Forbes, but I'm going over a small, tiny fraction of it, but to give you a gist of what's going on. And you can read the whole article. I'll have the link down there in the info box. But it goes on to state, and this is a good analogy. Remember Jaws in 1975, the small town at Amity was on the 4th of July weekend, a time of celebration of the founding of the USA. Just before the celebration of the 4th of July was about to begin, a vicious shark attack occurs. And then, they were concerned about losing money from the holiday tourist trade. The mayor and the townsfolk ignored warnings to keep people out of the water. But then another shark attack, and yet another, and the other. Finally, they fucking got the message, you know what I mean? And basically, get the hell out of the water. Now, some people can interpret that as get out of the markets. But is your safety cash? No, it isn't. How long has cash been around? Not long. 100 years. I mean, cash that we have in the United States currently. These federal notes, reserve notes have changed over a few times. What happened to the Confederate notes? We had notes in the United States that went to zero practically. I mean, not 0, but pretty damn close. Silver's a much better bet right now, but just like I said before, don't freaking go racking up your charge cards buying silver. That is entirely foolish too. You want to be debt free all the way. The economy was booming in 2008. Everybody seemed to be getting wealthier, right? That's the time that is highly dangerous, you know what I'm saying? And everybody's making money, something's going to change. And you know what? You can't convince anybody then. That's just like when silver was going up over 40. You couldn't convince anybody it wasn't going to go to 100, right? But now, the opposite effect is in play, and you got the nuts talking one way or the other. But anyway, the In other words, they either go too far one excessive or too far bearish, too far bullish. But everybody was getting wealthier in 2008, and I think this is a good thing because this is telling you what's going on right now a little bit too. Even though the warning signs were everywhere, too much borrowing, and you know what's going on. Governments are borrowing left and right. Foolish investments. Now, John Corzine made foolish investments. He was the best of the best of the best, right? Cream of the crop, right? Head of Goldman Sachs, man. He's been in the insider. The insider. He didn't lose that bet on nut for on purpose. That was not the plan. The plan was to win the bet, right? So even the best. Greedy banks. They're all greedy. They're all cutting each other's throats. Regulators sleep at the wheel. Basically, regulators that basically a lot of times are just understaffed, too. And they got the finances to go after this stuff. There's no way. There's not even close. Politicians eager to promote home ownership. And they're actually doing that again because actually the New York metropolitan area is actually hot on fire. The New York real estate market area is hot on fire more so than the summer. So everybody's pushing home ownership. They're pushing up another real estate bubble. And distinguished analysts, in a minority, are predicting that only this can end badly. That would be somebody like Mark Faber. So, this article is actually from the Forbes magazine. I'll just point to the link where it is. But I want to tell you this. Basically, what you're going to have to come down to is just being real and sticking with the essence of everything. Actually, I'd say the most important thing in me, besides just about any damn thing, is Harley-Davidson. So that's to me, and it does represent freedom in a lot of ways. Now, these two girls on here probably undoubtedly don't ride. They're just posers and all that kind of garbage. But the essence of the idea has always been there. Today we've got a big hit on the markets, and it's good that the Dow is getting hit. If the metals got hit today and the Dow went up, I'd be like, oh shit. But when I see the Dow getting hit like this, you know what it is? They're talking about tapering off the QE. As soon as they're backing off the gas, the Dow, in other words, the Dow should be looking as crappy as the metals themselves. And you know what? That's because of the economy's garbage. And what the game is, the only game they have out of this, the only way out of this is to actually print more money because, in other words, devalue the currency. In other words, devalue the currency to boost exports. All countries are going to follow this policy. And what's going to happen is, ergo, real assets are going to go up relative to currencies. It's like I can't predict it on a daily basis. Like I said, John Corzine, insider the insider. He screwed up. So, nobody actually is going to give you perfect information on the internet. But what I'm saying is, these guys in the big banks don't even trust each other. They're like a pack of sharks. Sure, you don't want to get in the water with them, right? But the sharks feed on each other, don't they? Don't they? Right? Don't they feed on each other all the time? And, they're taking the hits. Like, in other words, they'll sacrifice a couple of their own, if they're hungry. And the rest of the pack is hungry, right? That's what's going to happen. But, it's like, do you want to be in cash? I mean, because you know what? The writing is on the wall that the U.S. dollar is going to lose its world reserve currency status. I'll have to give that to Lindsey Williams all the way. Although I don't know exactly when this is going to happen. He's been predicting this for freaking 5 years now. But it's a slow process. But the other game is that goes on when a currency goes to lose its world reserve currency status. They don't want to do it too fast, too, because the Chinese have an interest. They have dollars, too. But the thing is, you want to be the last man standing because all the capital rushes into you. If China's the last man standing, everybody's going to run there as a safety. If Europe's the last man standing, everybody's going to run there as a safety. If the United States is the last man standing, everybody's going to run there as a safety. It's like there's a war going on. There's an economic war going on. And it's almost like you can compare this to the outcome of World War II. If the United States lost World War II, it would have been Germany and Japan where all the capital would have ran into, right? Basically, that's what's going on underneath the surface. It's almost like there's a war going on in an economic fashion, and it's not BS. Now, I want to point something out. I always put out these things about Harleys and stuff, and I'm going to point out a really practical tip. If you have a Harley and you want to get some oil for it, And you know, Harley-Davidson oil is like a lot, and you can tell me I'm full of it with this garbage. I'm just passing us on as a 101 economic tip to save you a couple bucks because I got some of this stuff. I usually use Valvoline 50 weight racing or something. It's versus Harley oil. But this is another good one. Shell Rotella T1 straight 50. You could buy a 5-gallon pail. This will run you about $2.80 a quart, $2.79 a quart. And it's good for motorcycles. And if you'll have like a, you get it like a repeat order, it's about $2.39 a quart. Very cheap. So you know, not doesn't work in a Jap bike where you have the transmission shared with the engine, but it will work in a Harley. So just want to point that out because you know, some of the most important things in the world that have a lot of silver on them are motorcycles. And that's one thing I have to say. But just remember this. The sharks don't even know what's going on exactly. John Corzine proves this, doesn't it? I mean, that's one real. That's the big lesson I got out of John Corzine. That the sharks don't even understand what's going on, do they? They'll eat each other. You know what I'm saying? And you don't want to be in their path. So that's one of the other reasons to hold the silver and the gold, because the sharks, even on the top, as you get into macroeconomics, China and Russia and Europe or whatever, they're all trying to eat each other with the currency wars too. They're trying to be the last man standing. See? And at the same time boost their exports and keep their economies rolling. So silver actually is a real good backstop no matter how you look at it. And oh, one more. People are scared of freedom. You know what silver represents? Freedom.